Hello, this is Galen Wixson, President and CEO of the Lubbock Symphony, here for another installment of ClefNotes, an inside look at the Lubbock Symphony's concerts and operations. Here today we have a guest that many of you may have heard of, have seen, at least from the back, our conductor and maestro and music director, David Cho. David, welcome.
Thank you.
It's so good to have you here today. We're just going to talk about a few things, most especially because we're right at the end of our season now. And we'll be featuring The Concert, a tribute to ABBA. And this is going to take place on June 7th at Buddy Holly Hall, 7:30 p.m. Before we get started with our discussion about ABBA, give us a call if you'd like tickets to this program, and I'll remind you later in the show. Go to our website, www.lubbocksymphony.org, or give us a call, 806-762-1688. So David, ABBA started way back. They started as a group in 1972, and you can tell I've done a little bit of reading to find out all this. But in 1974, then, they got their huge break when they appeared on Eurovision. And I don't know if you've ever seen that tape, but it was an amazing performance of the song Waterloo. And that launched their careers as the group ABBA. And you know, we all have seen the videos of them hopping on jet planes and going all over the world and playing for huge audiences. And so now we get to play their music with symphony orchestra. What stories do you have about ABBA growing up?
Well, certainly it's considered as one of the most successful popular group in the history of music. And as you mentioned, they got their first break with their song Waterloo. And many of you listeners may know that ABBA is acronym of the four original founding members: Agnetha as A, Benny as B, Bjorn as another B, and Anni Fried.
Yes,
That's another
right.
A.
Yeah.
So ABBA.
ABBA. Yeah. That's very clever.
It is, and it's kind of stuck to our classical music and popular music lovers' conscious over the decades. And as I mentioned, sold millions of records.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have created this group that emulates the originals, and they have very successfully toured with symphony orchestras around the world, and we're so fortunate to have them.
We are. They come from Denmark, and they're a wonderful group to work with so far as we've been preparing for their concert. What strikes me about their music, I think, is very different than a lot of kind of pop bands of the era. They have many multicultural elements to their music. So in some of their songs, you'll hear Native American flutes, you'll hear Mexican rhythms, and then they also have this kind of underlying element of European Schlagers, folk music of Europe. And this gives them a very European kind of feel that we've kind of grown to love. To me, their music is just, I don't know, it speaks to a generation of people that were looking for an escape, right? I mean, this is kind of at the tail end of Watergate and Vietnam, and people are getting out to the discos and dancing, and something about their beat and their rhythm and the catchiness of their tunes just caught the imagination, and they sold all these records.
Yeah, and their rhythmic excitement and hummable tunes certainly attracted millions around the world. And as you said, it was a generational thing, and we may have said that it was the past generation. However, there was a resurgence in the interest of the music of ABBA due to a couple of movies that have come out recently, Mamma Mia.
Oh, right.
And again, the hummable tunes and the catchiness of the lyrics and the beats have attracted young audiences around the world.
Mm-hmm. And Meryl Streep was so fearless in that movie, singing as somebody who can't necessarily sing operatically, but God, she was fearless in that movie, singing those songs.
It's truly amazing. So many of our actors and actresses can not only act great, but have incredible musical talent.
They do. She's one of them for sure. One last note before I let ABBA go. Waterloo was recently voted the top Eurovision song ever in the 58-year history of that program. It's a one time a year song contest basically, and so they're competing for a prize, and the prize winners have spanned lots of different groups, but ABBA is definitely the most successful. The estimates I read, they've sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 million records, which is staggering. There's not many artists or pop groups that can claim a number even approaching that. So
Half a billion.
half a billion. So we are so excited to bring the music of ABBA to Lubbock. I'm sure it's going to be a fun program. Do you have any insights on what the group is bringing to Lubbock to play with us?
Well, this morning I was thinking of Dancing Queen, and I can imagine our Lubbockite audiences dancing in the aisles and just being exuberant and just let your hair down a bit
That's right.
and
Yeah.
have fun.
Have fun. It's not a dressy program. Please enjoy the evening in that beautiful hall, listening to that spectacular music with the orchestra behind them. So we're really looking forward to it.
When is the date for that concert?
That concert is June 7th, and that will be at Buddy Holly Hall at 7:30 p.m. Once again, to get tickets, give us a call, 762-1688, or our website, lubbocksymphony.org. We still have a lot to talk about here on this program because we are getting ready to launch our 2025-26 season. And there are so many special elements to this season coming up. We're going to start in September with a chamber concert. Eric Allen is joining the Lubbock Chamber Orchestra to perform some of my favorite works of the Mozart Symphony 40, which is just, what's the nickname of 40? Do you remember?
It's a symphony in G minor. I believe the next one, which is 41st Symphony, had a nickname Jupiter.
Okay, that's right. And I always get it confused.
Oh, it's
Because
confusing.
39, 40, and 41, I kind of get them, and 38 to the Prague. I always
I
get them a
mean,
little.
someone who lived not even 40 years to write 41 symphonies
And-
among so many operas.
right.
It's incredible.
And, of course, as a string player, the String Serenade of Tchaikovsky. What is it about that music? You probably could know the psychological elements that are there that just kind of catch you. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. Tchaikovsky had this knack of grabbing listeners' attention, and this string serenade has this heroic chorale in the beginning that everybody can remember, and
That's right. That's
and
right.
it really sticks to your memory. And
Yeah. I always thought it was interesting how he used this contrary motion of lines to create this tension and energy that naturally resolves itself because the scales are moving in opposite directions, right? So you have one line, either the tenor or bass or treble or bass, going down while the other goes up. And so these lines cross, and you get this real shiver in your back when these lines happen that way. It's very exciting. I love Tchaikovsky.
he does that a lot in his music.
He does.
As most of the listeners may know, he had quite an interesting romantic life, and in his symphony, along with which you mentioned in the String Serenade, there's a lot of this star-crossed lover
Interesting.
motive and
Yeah.
the crossing of the melodic lines to create one entity. There's a lot of compositional technique that only Tchaikovsky managed to work as a vehicle to write his music.
I never even thought of that metaphor, star-crossed lovers, when those lines cross. It is so evocative. I
It
really love
is, and most listeners may not know, or we just pay attention to the product. Don't think too much of it. It's a great music.
It is. Then there's one other very interesting piece, a Ladder to the Moon violin concerto. We're going to have our own concertmaster, Annie Shelix Boyle, joining the chamber orchestra. And this is written by a gentleman who lives in Michigan. He's still alive. Doherty is the last name. The first name is...
Michael Dougherty.
Michael, yes. And Michael has appeared on one of our sound chamber concerts before. And so we had featured him as a composer. And Michael's Ladder to the Moon is going to be really the feature, the centerpiece of this concert, with Annie performing on the violins. So it should be a very challenging night for her.
Yes, written for a chamber wind ensemble. It's going to be really wonderful to feature the virtuosity of our concertmaster Annie Shelix-Boyle.
Mm-hmm. Then we move on. We have education concerts that take place at Buddy Holly Hall. We'll have for the fifth graders the Carnival of the Animals, and we'll be doing that in October. We have two great pianists and the orchestra performing Saint-Saëns' really amazing masterpiece. Then I think maybe one of the more exciting events of the year comes up on Halloween of 2025. The Lubbock Symphony, with our music director, David Cho, conducting, will perform Jurassic Park. The film will be shown on a screen above the orchestra, and the orchestra will play the challenging, to say the least, score of John Williams. Once again, tickets are available for the season at this point. We'll have single ticket sales starting later in the summer, but right now you can reserve your seats for the entire season by going to our website, lubbocksymphony.org, or by giving us a call, 806-762-1688. David Cho, thank you for joining me today. And everyone, please join us next time on ClefNotes. This is Galen Wixson, President and CEO of the Lubbock Symphony. Thank you.